have brand new designs, they have all new labels. I'm going to share with you my thoughts, my opinions, my sensory evaluation. Essentially, I'm going to smell them, dissect them, and tell you what I smell. But more importantly, most important, is that I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to let my imagination do the work. I'm going to let you know where these candles take me. I'm going to set off my Halloween nostalgia. This way, hopefully, we can paint the portrait and create a little bit of smell-o-vision between you and myself. How does that sound? Sound good? Well, let's not waste any more time. Let's jump into this. Before we begin, welcome everybody to the Candle Enthusiast. I am your host, Shane Carlson, and let me lower the volume on the music and the video. Thank you for joining in today on a very special live video on the main channel, the Candle Enthusiast. Take two. If you're new to the channel, usually we do our lives every Sunday on my secondary channel, the Aromatically Speaking channel. So make sure you swing over there at some point if you want to be a part of these weekly live videos. But I put a lot of thought into going live on the main channel today because this really does, we're in between my 2-year anniversary here on YouTube. And although 2 years for most of us, even for me, seems to just go by like a flash of lightning, this has been such an amazing ride for me. I've met so many incredible people, and what this has culminated into is something far greater than I could have ever anticipated. In the 2-year span, I've managed, excluding the live videos, I've managed to put out 200 plus videos, fully edited videos. I'm not tapping myself on the back. I'm tapping myself on the back a little bit, but it's in looking back in retrospect, it seems like a lot more has happened than what would occur in a 2-year process. So thank you for joining on the live channel today. We are going to be doing a question and answer video. So if you're joining in looking to talk about candles, if you want to talk about Yankee Candle Halloween, we're going to be doing that. We may even do that later on in this video. But mainly this video today is going to be focused on a Q&A. I have questions that you folks have sent in to me. I have them printed out. I'm going to read them. And then at the end of the Q&A, I have some candles that I just pulled out. I'm going to do some giveaways. We're going to do some United States candle giveaways. We'll figure out how we'll do it. We'll play it by ear. But then for those of you who are abroad, candles just cost way too much to ship. I cannot afford to ship you a candle, but I can afford to ship you a postcard. And I know that's kind of a weak replacement, but at least it's something. I can send you something in the mail to increase our communication. That's always my goal, is to make sure that we are practicing communication here on the Candle Enthusiast. So let me pull you guys up. And like I said, if you really just want to know the latest news about candles and you got the notification today and you don't even know who I am, I understand. You know, just I'll have more candle content in the near future. Just don't unsubscribe because I'm doing a spontaneous, well, it's not spontaneous, but because I'm doing a live video. All right. Where are you folks and who is in the house? I had to rush a little bit with that thumbnail that we have today, but I will work on it. All right. Who do we have? Christina P. I met Christina P. yesterday. Was it yesterday? God, it seems like forever ago. At the Yankee Candle Village for the Magic and Moonlight Ball. And Jennifer saying 200 plus videos. They were all so much fun. Thank you, Jennifer. Jennifer is just loaded with words and sentences that just make me feel very warm inside. make me feel very, pull at those heartstrings. We have a lot of familiar faces. I'm glad you're all here today. And I will open up some questions in the chat, some Q&A questions for the chat when we get through the typed out ones. I want to get this camera framed just right. I mean, nothing is ever going to be just right, but I figured this might be a good balance. Okay, the TV is on. We have my coffee. And then weirdly, I have a coffee mug that I'm going to put water into. Yankee Candle shopping yesterday. A lot of mixed emotions. We'll leave it at that for now. But from what I saw, the folks I met yesterday, people who watch this channel, and also folks who are complete strangers, they seem to be having a fantastic time. All right. So I see you all. I'd run through all of the names. I really would, but I want to make sure that if anyone's new to this channel, that we provide them with some Q&A as quick as possible. I haven't even read this Q&A. I haven't read it, but let us get to it. And in no particular order here either. Top chat. I'm going to change the top chat to live chat. I suggest you do the same thing. What that does is it doesn't jumble up the comments. It puts all the comments in chronological order. All right. All right, here we go. So once again, just to open up, I don't mean to keep postponing, but I say this every Sunday, and really, I feel like I spend most of my time repeating myself. I say thank you so many times a day. I speak to so many of you individually that it feels like I'm just a big ball of redundancy. But I just want to make sure that that I'm always reminding you folks that that at the heart of the Candle Enthusiast, whether it be candle evaluations, silly candle evaluations, me just acting like a buffoon in front of the camera, or if it's me with the camera out and about on the road doing something, whether it's me sharing, documenting something that's really important to me, like the Norman Rockwell Museum, or visiting something that makes me, brings me back to my childhood, like Santa's Village. You guys have always been at the center. Without you guys, obviously, there would be no platform for me to share all of these wonderful things that I am super passionate about. So thank you is probably the least exciting way to say what I truly want to say to you guys. But I have to reduce it to a simple thank you for all that you have given me. And with that said, let's jump into these questions. Let's lighten the mood a little bit before I get too sappy. All right. So first, I want to thank everybody from the Candle Enthusiast Facebook fan page for organizing this. Everybody, because I simply did not have time to get all of these questions from you guys. Question number 1 from Horror Queen, or Laura. As if you've been acquainted with Laura, she's been with us for quite some time. If YouTube, and I haven't read these questions. If YouTube went away, what would you want to do? If YouTube went away, what would you want to do? Well, again, I don't have fleshed out answers, so I'm going with my gut instinct here. I think in my 20s, not to make this sound too sad and oh, poor Shane, but I hit that wall, that point where I said to myself, you know what, my childhood dream of being a filmmaker, me being 4 years old and stealing my father's video VHS camcorder out of his closet when he was at work and making my own movies. All of that time from my childhood to my adolescence through high school, people knew me in high school for being a filmmaker, and going to film school. Later in my 20s, I essentially had to face the cold, hard fact, or the truth, that I had to throw my childhood dream away. I had to say, you know what, this is not working. And this happens to too many artists, sadly. You know, whether you're a musician, you're a painter, any artist. This is sadly the case for so many artists out there. And I had to venture into a different world, a different career. I moved to Napa Valley. I studied wine. I became really pursued another passion of mine, beverages and wine and genealogy and all that stuff. But within the years I was living in Napa Valley and studying, I just there was something not right. And when I point to here, I am pointing to my heart, but you know, I should be pointing up here. There's something just wasn't right. I was not being creative in a manner that was satisfactory to me. So if YouTube went away, I think the joy that YouTube has given me has put a camera back in my hand, and whether it be a short 5-minute video, a 40-minute video, a documentary, a candle evaluation, it's given me a reason to pick up the camera again, to get behind the computer and to edit, to tell stories, just to reach out to people, to connect with people, to communicate. I don't have to be a salesman of wine anymore. I don't have to sell things. All I have to do is tell stories. So if YouTube went away, I would simply just have to find some other means of what else could I do with a camera, and how could I reach people in a different way. But she did give me a multiple choice. Well, she didn't give me multiple choice. She gave me 4 questions. So that's what I would do. I don't know. I probably wouldn't be filming weddings. That wouldn't give me creative satisfaction. But I don't know. Maybe I would work on a small documentary crew, you know, a small budget production company producing passionate documentaries. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Well, I see myself in 5 years whatever the Candle Enthusiast turns into. The Candle Enthusiast may not be what it is today. It may morph into something else. I might find myself traveling, doing much more diverse videos. But I'm open to the idea of just not trying to map out a plan. I want the Candle Enthusiast to not just be a candle show. I want it to be a place where people can come and celebrate nostalgia, memories, where people can come and celebrate holidays any time of the year, or celebrate things that they love, whether it be movies, music, Disney. I just want it to be a place, a safe place, where you don't have to worry about people criticizing you for your passions. And I just want to embrace everything that has to do with what makes people passionate, whether it be history, whether it be art, so on and so forth. Aromatics will somehow always be tied to the Candle Enthusiast in one form or another, because I truly believe that aroma can and does enhance our lives every day. I just think sadly, and it's not our fault, I don't think, I think sadly we take it for granted because we're so busy, and we don't even realize how much aromatics really does improve our day. Even just walking by, you know, a coffee shop and smelling the beautiful aromas, or driving by a county fair and smelling the fairs, the fair aromatics. What this does to us, how this makes us feel happy. Again, so videos, hopefully YouTube will be the platform. If it's not, I will certainly embrace another platform. but hopefully I will be making videos, and hopefully the moniker, the Candle Enthusiast, will stick. What one song best parallels your life? Oh man, I really should have thought about these. Let me mark that one, and I'll come back to that, Laura, because that's a good one. If you could only spend $10 on a bottle of wine, $10. Okay, go to Trader Joe's. I'm not going to give you a brand. I'm not going to give you, well, I'm not going to give you a brand. If I could spend $10 on a bottle of wine, and if you have a Trader Joe's around you, don't buy a $2 chuck, but go into the Spanish, Portuguese section. Look for a wine called Vinho Verde. Vinho Verde. And I see that we have so many people in the chat room, and I'm not ignoring anybody. Especially since I just so happen to see Brett right here stopping by to say hi and congrats. Thank you so much, Brett. Vinho Verde is a wine that comes out of Portugal. It's very inexpensive. It's easy drinking. It's a white wine. It's slightly effervescent. It is not a sparkling wine, but when you crack it open, because usually it comes in a screw cap, it's got a little bit of that bubble action, a little bit of that fizziness. What's amazing about Vinho Verde, it's made with a bunch of different grapes, but the main grape is called Galera. Really ugly sounding name. And I think I'm spelling it right, but the thing about this with Vinho Verde, you can buy the best of the best of the best of this kind of wine for under $30, and for $10 you can get an amazing bottle of wine, and there's pretty good chance that everybody around the table, whether you're on the dinner table or you're out in the back porch in the summertime or in the autumn, everyone's going to enjoy that easy drinking bottle of wine. So Vinho Verde, this is not new news. This is, I'm sure a lot of people might recommend that to you, but that's the first thing that comes to my mind. Another wine that just simply is underestimated. Oh man. I can't even. I'm just gonna say it because you guys all know. I can't right now. I'm getting the spelling mixed up in my head. Beaujolais. Now Beaujolais, from the southernmost region of Burgundy, France. Not made from Pinot Noir, but made from the Gamay grape. Gamay grape. If you walk into a wine shop and say, "Give me your best bottle of Cru Beaujolais," not only will you look super cool, but it most likely will not, if they have it, it won't cost you a fortune, and it's delicious. It's really underrated, Beaujolais. So Beaujolais Village, Cru Beaujolais. Just don't, the Beaujolais that most of us are familiar with is Beaujolais Nouveau, which is what we drink around Thanksgiving and Christmas time. It's like the $8 bottle of wine. Trust me, not the same thing. Let's move on. Chanel, age 10. Hello, Chanel, if you're tuning in, and I hope congrats, and I wish you the best of luck with your own YouTube channel. What was your very first candle you ever bought? Okay, so candles run in my family. I've had candles purchased for me, obviously growing up. They weren't really mine. They were in my household when I was a child. And I honestly, Chanel, I wish I could tell you. It most certainly probably was a Yankee Candle. If you go really far back, I was probably in high school when I started purchasing Yankee Candles on my own, and something is telling me it was something very fruity, and I want to say something like mango salsa, but I don't know. But I'll tell you this, there was a long period when I stopped buying Yankee candles, and when I moved out to California, right? Because I didn't want to buy a bunch of I didn't want to buy. I didn't collect candles when I was in California. But I think I told this story before. I was in a Staples in summer, Staples, and there was a clearance rack, and on that clearance rack was Yankee Candle's peppermint bark for $4.99. And I'm like, oh, look at this, Yankee Candle. You know, I haven't burned a Yankee Candle in a long time. I picked it up and I smelled it, and the rush of emotions that ran through my body, I could feel it in my bones, you know what I mean? It was like suddenly I wasn't in California anymore. I was home. I was with my family. It was Christmas. You know, it was just, it was that moment when I'm like, wow, maybe this whole aroma thing is not just tied to wine. Maybe aromas, maybe I'm just passionate about aroma. Maybe it's not just like wine. Because for me, smelling and evaluating wine is what I did. It's what I trained to do. I did it for years and years and years. I wrote tons of papers, materials for companies, for clients, for speaking on the phone to people, trying to communicate to them what a wine would smell and taste like. And I was so passionate about the smell, and nobody understood. Like, why do you always talk about the aroma? Talk about the taste. But there was something in that moment, smelling that peppermint bark Yankee Candle, that kind of opened a window, and I said, you know what? Maybe it's not the wine. Maybe it's my sense of smell, the old factory sense, the old factory bulb, right back there. The magic of how it can bring us to places we long to visit and places we never have been to before. Chanel, very great question. I wish I could have answered your specific question. I don't remember the first candle I ever bought. Jordan asks, what is your favorite Halloween candle slash accessory you own? This one I did happen to peek at because I saw it posted on Facebook, so I actually brought it out. When it comes to candles, you guys know that Witch's Brew. It's just, it opened my eyes to Halloween candles. I collect it every year. But this is something that you may have seen in a lot of my videos. It's usually somewhere in the background. Do I have an extra light? I don't. It's usually somewhere in the background, or maybe I sometimes get an insert of it. You can see it did hold a C battery, and the plate is missing. But this witch has been with me every single Halloween of my entire life, for the exception of maybe 1 or 2 years when I was in California. But I remember speaking to my parents on the phone about this witch, making sure that they didn't stick it in like the shed or the attic, someplace where it would melt, because to me this is like a family heirloom. When I was a kid, I just, the thoughts of taking this out of the closet and putting it on our mantle or putting it on our piano in our family room got me so excited. It got me into the mood for Halloween. So when I was living in California, my parents shipped it to me. And so not only has she made the trek out to California, but now she's all the way back in New York. And if she did have a battery in there, I think she still works. There is a voice box that has this really fun, cackling witch laugh, but it's incredibly annoying because it just does not stop. It just keeps going and going and going. Let me try to get a little bit more light on that. This is it's plastic, right? Battery operated, probably predates my life. This was probably purchased for my brothers before I was born. You can see she's got like a pepper shaker, dumping it into her cauldron. Definitely retro, definitely 80s-esque, maybe even earlier than that. Made by a company called Celebrations by Silvestri. Celebrations by Silvestri, made in Taiwan. So if you come across that on eBay, buy it for yourself. Let me know. I wouldn't mind having a second one, but that one is certainly it means more to me than just being a decoration. It's kind of a physical token of my love of the Halloween season. Great question, Jordan. Thank you for asking that one. Robin, how does it feel to have your own fan group? I'll be honest with you. So what Robin is referring to is over a year ago now, on one of these lives, I'm not sure if it was on the main channel or the secondary channel, I said, look, everyone keeps mentioning like a Facebook group, like a community, a forum where all of the fans could talk, because you guys come to the live not just to hear me talk and spew, but you talk amongst each other. I'm sure you're doing it right now. And I've never been a Facebook, I was a Facebook person. When Facebook was like, back when you had to be like a college student and you had to be enrolled, registered in a college that was linked with Facebook. And I remember like the day I got my Facebook account, which would have been like 2004, and it was a big deal. But you know, the Facebook thing faded really quickly for me with the introduction of other social media, and as it expanded, it didn't become a place, a community for, you know, at the time, my college friends. It became more of like, oh my God, like my aunts and my parents and you know, people I met once in my life. They all know what I'm doing. It just is something that I really like, my privacy. So Facebook has never been a platform that I've spent a lot of time on. So I put out there, if anybody wanted to start a Candle Enthusiast Facebook group, not necessarily a fan group. I never used that word fan, which was really interesting, because when I saw the fan group thing, I'm like, this is nuts. This is crazy, because now people that I went to like high school with, people, my family members, they see that like there's a fan group for me, and they're like, Shane, why are they fans of you? What are you doing that there's people out there that are fans of you? And I'm like, they're not really fans of me. They watch my videos and they've become close friends. So whenever I do see the words, the Candle Enthusiast Facebook fan group, it is strange. I suppose it would be much more strange. And just something out of the Twilight Zone if it actually had my name on it, like Shane Carlson fan group. Because there should never be a Shane Carlson fan group. The Candle Enthusiast is his own entity, so I'm okay with that. But I do want to give a huge shout out to Rachel, who can't be with us today, but for a very good reason. She's got a new baby boy in her family that she's spending time with. And she took it upon herself to start the fan group. So I had nothing to do with it. I still don't. I'm just a fan like any one of you guys. If you're not a part of the Facebook fan group, get on over there. Talk about a bunch of stuff, not just candles. As long as you can keep it clean and family friendly. Because we have people like Julia, age 8. She's probably on the Facebook fan group. So we do definitely try to keep things family friendly. But Julia says, how did you get into drama? Drama, like, that's crazy. That's a wild question, because what does that mean? Drama, like, am I like how did I become so dramatic, or how did I get into like drama? I spent some time on stage, all local theater, nothing big. But I think that must be what she's referring to. In high school, we didn't have like the computer systems for all the spotlights like they do today. We had this Dr. Frankenstein, no joke. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you can relate. We had these big levers or levers, but levers, is, as Dr. Frankenstein would say, that you would have to flip and switch, and they would shoot out sparks. We had a big fire extinguisher right next to this thing because this was an ancient piece of material. But I was backstage, kind of doing the lights in drama class when I was a freshman, until the director of the drama class asked me to take a small role. I said no, and we were doing some form of Christmas play, and they said, just go out there and try to be funny. And I'm like, I'm not a funny person. So they pushed me out there, and again, this is not a pat on my back, because this was probably the most traumatic moment of my life, but one of the most eye-opening. As like a 14, 15-year-old kid, I was pushed on the stage in front of all of my peers, again, freshmen. I was with the sophomores, the juniors, and the seniors. And there was a short little scene that I was interacting with a young lady, I can't remember her name, and I just, with a little bit of ad-lib and a little bit of, like, you know, the comedic timing that I learned from watching people like Lucille Ball or Jackie Gleason or John Ritter, you know, I just started ad-libbing, and everyone was in hysterics. And I realized at that point that it's like, wow, like, this is how I can communicate with people, by making them laugh. And I became very intrigued with getting back on the stage and actually taking on characters. But it ultimately made me far too stressed out and nervous. I never pursued an acting career. I was always more behind the camera. I hope that's what you're referring to. However, now being a vlogger, a YouTuber, if you want to call it that, getting in front of the camera is kind of fun, because again, I can be silly, I can feel free to be silly, and what's gonna happen to me, right? I can't be booed off the stage. Adam says, a catastrophe is happening, and you can only save 3 candles in your collection. Which 3 do you choose, and why? I'm gonna let them all go. Adam, I'm gonna let them all go. I don't want the remnants of 1 or 2 or 3 candles as a reminder. Let's say this catastrophe is, I mean, please, crossing my fingers, nothing bad ever like this ever happens, but was a fire. Maybe I would just stand back and open up my nostrils, and from a distance try to enjoy all of those candles as they went up in flame. But to pull 1 or 2 or 3, I just couldn't do it. I mean, part of me is saying, like, do I choose value? Like, which one is worth more, financially or money-wise, or one that means most to me? They all mean a lot to me for all different reasons. And I would just make sure I got my dog. Elsa is more than a year old, but I got Elsa a year ago, so it's her anniversary too. We will be talking about that in a later upcoming in-betweens video. So Adam, sorry to give you a bad answer there if that's not good enough for you, but really, I'd rather just see them all go. I'd rather see them all go. Tasha asks, I believe Tasha is from the EPC family. Let me check in with you guys right here. Horror Queen, I just caught this comment. A man who can correctly perform Shakespeare makes me swoon. Well, you do not want to see me perform any of the monologues. I have some of the monologues memorized from English class, from Romeo and Juliet. But I only memorized them because Orson Welles. You ever hear Orson Welles recite Shakespeare? Whew, man. I don't know. That guy was just everything. He was a filmmaker. He was a magician. The greatest voice. He won, you know, an Oscar, what, 26 years old? Citizen Kane when he was 26 years old. Are you kidding me? Anyway. But Tasha, what is your biggest dream in life? If you have achieved it, what is your next one? Biggest dream in life. You know, this kind of ties into a conversation that I was having with both of my brothers at different times recently. That the topic of, there's something that you want to achieve, right? And let's say you get there, right? You cross it off your list. Let's say it's a lifelong achievement and you make it. I've achieved a few things in my life that I'm pretty darn proud of. But I can tell you one thing, for me personally, once that thing is achieved, it's a very hollow feeling. It's a feeling of not satisfaction. Maybe satisfaction lasts for 24 hours. But after that 24 hours has elapsed, for me, and whether it's a curse or a blessing, it's, well, what's next? Like, well, what's my next task? If I cross that off my list, what am I doing tomorrow? What's gonna motivate me to put my shoes on tomorrow and to go outside? So the topic that I was having with my brothers, the conversation I was having with my brothers, the topic of, it's this perpetual chasing the carrot. The carrot, my kind of personality type, that carrot's always dangling in front of me and I'm always gonna chase it. And I don't think I'll ever get the carrot, but it's the chase, it's the journey, it's even the failures, the trips, the falls. It's the whole experience of milestones, 2-year anniversary milestones, but also failing and getting up and trying again and just keep going. It's the journey is the achievement. How grand of a journey is it going to be when I look back? Might sound, again, like a lame answer, but really, philosophically, if you really think about that topic, really embrace that topic, that it's really not about achieving that one thing that you always said you wanted to do, but rather achieving it and not riding that achievement like a magic carpet, because that achievement will not keep you happy. At least it wouldn't for me. It wouldn't keep me happy for the rest of my life. I would need to keep going and achieving more and building more. Keep building every day. Keep creating, keep building. I feel like I'm giving these answers that are kind of, I don't know, like I'm cheating a little bit. And for the 71 folks joining in right now, seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for tuning in, watching. I really mean it. That is a huge turnout for a Q&A video for me. Thank you. Thumbs up if you're enjoying it, by the way. That helps me out. Claudine says, I love the videos like Norman Rockwell, Santa's Village, or your road trips through New England. Are you planning on sharing some more of these videos like this in the future? This is a very big topic, something I always talk about. There's people in this chat room that might be like, oh, what's the answer to that? But I know there's people in this chat room that are like, oh my God, we have to hear this from Shane again. When I first started YouTube, the Norman Rockwell video, the Santa's Village video, all of the other videos that just, like me sledding in New Hampshire, what was going on in my mind where I allowed myself to put me acting like, one of the Three Stooges, sledding in New Hampshire? What made me put that video up on YouTube publicly? Like, what the gall I had to do that? Well, the reason, I think, back then was because there wasn't a paved path. It was such an early part of the process where I had this freedom and to do anything I wanted. So I just let all of these videos just happen. If it was good, it was bad, whatever. I just put it out there. But, after 2 years, again, not a long time, but the content becomes more chiseled out. And people expect that, the more people who are watching you, the viewers, they expect a very specific kind of video from you. I think when you guys tune in, you expect to see majority of candle reviews or evaluations or in-depth analyses of candles, whatever you want to call them. But there's no question in my mind that from my experience on YouTube, creating videos like the Norman Rockwell and the Santa's Village videos, not only are they my favorite videos, but they certainly were the most fun to make, and the ones that gave me the greatest artistic satisfaction. I'm telling you, I still watch some of those. I don't watch them all the way through, but I still watch them, and I get the feels, right? I think that's what the kids call it these days, right? The feels. The feels. I get it, man. I get it, and it's me in the video. And I want to make more. I want to. That is the goal. That is the goal. That's the reason why I tacked on the name Aromatic Adventures to the Candle Enthusiast well over a year ago, because I wanted to remind people it's Aromatic Adventures with the Candle Enthusiast. It's not just the Candle Enthusiast. So adventures. They're coming up. We got a long season ahead of us. And I just got back from the Yankee Candle Village yesterday. I was there for 2 days, and it was my first kind of taste of being back on the road in a long time. Not that I was on the road, it's a 2.5-hour trip. But, just getting that feeling, putting all my camera equipment in the back of my car, and loading up the cooler with water, getting all my thermoses ready with coffee. I felt it, I didn't even, I was actually a little bit cold in the morning, getting up at like 6:30, going outside, getting ready for the day, setting up the camera. The season's coming, and I hope that I can deliver on some really fun adventures for you folks this season. And there will be plenty more to come. And 2019, let me just put this out there. Candle Enthusiast 2019 is going to be a different year. You will see a change in a great way. I really think it's going to be embraced. But believe me, once 18 moves into 19, we're making some changes. We're making some big changes. But I think you'll all enjoy them. So don't be nervous. Lauren asks, what is your all-time favorite Halloween decoration that you own? Oh no, so it's already been asked. So going back to Jordan's question, what was your favorite Halloween candle? Let's talk about that. Witch's Brew always is going to be my Yankee Candle go-to, but Black Magic, that should still be on the shelf, Black Magic. Why? I thought Yankee Candle got rid of Black Magic, really, wholeheartedly. I thought Yankee Candle scratched Black Magic because it had the word magic in the title. I thought they were trying to be very careful with being PC, because if you say something like magic or voodoo or even like fortune teller, yesterday I used the word gypsy because they had a gypsy, what looked like the gypsy from the Wolfman, Lon Chaney Jr., the old Universal horror film, like a gypsy stagecoach in the Yankee Candle. And I'm like, wait a minute, can I say that? Is that politically correct to say gypsy? I don't mean to be hurting anyone's feelings. I just don't know. But anyway, I thought the candle, Black Magic was erased because Black Magic, could imply, it could insult a certain group of people. And I thought they were just trying to be PC. But what has proved me wrong is that the party this year was called the Magic and Moonlight Ball. So that's not the reason that they got rid of Black Magic. Did anybody hate Black Magic? Did anyone despise Black Magic? I mean, Haunted Hollow, there was a lot of criticism, but Black Magic was, that was like the, where did it go? Why is it not there? I just don't get it. at 2 years, it was available and it did great. So Black Magic is something that I long to see Yankee Candle bring back. Rename it if you want, Yankee Candle, or just bring it back. But outside of that, if we talk about Witch City Wicks, my favorite will always be Sleepy Hollow. And please, if you're watching in and if you try to order Witch City Wicks products during the restock, she sold out in 10 minutes, guys. She sold out in 10 minutes on the 24th during her restock. And although that sounds like a wonderful thing, like, go Liz, she sold out in 10 minutes. This means a lot of people did not get their candles. And she's dealing with a world of emails and phone calls right now. Remember, one-woman show. She puts her heart, her blood, her tears into her art, her passion, her work, her candles. So I understand any frustration out there, people being like, dang, what happened? I didn't get my candles. Something went wrong with the website. I didn't get my candles. They sold out quick. She's not making them fast enough. Just remember, she's not Yankee Candle. She's not Kringle Candle. She's not even a moderate-sized candle company. She is one. She is one person. So if anything, send some positivity and love her way, because she should be celebrating right now. She should be dancing on a roof with a bottle of wine because of the rapid growth of her company, and yet she's dealing with, unfortunately, a lot of negativity because of unhappy customers. It's just a sad situation, but hopefully it'll all work out. Hopefully it'll all work out. I guarantee you, if you are persistent, you will get your candles. So Witch City Wicks Sleepy Hollow will be my favorite. For Washington Wicks, Nikki, I believe Nikki's in the house. She's in the house. I don't know, Nikki. I fell in love. She's got a candle called Frog Snot. You may have seen Anthony from Candle Cafe evaluate this. I plan to evaluate it very soon. We're going to be doing a Washington Wicks video soon. She just has so many candles. For me to choose from, so I really want to make sure I'm picking the right ones. But Frog Snot is like, if you're the kind of person who walks by through the grocery store in October and you see Count Chocula, Boo Berry, and Frankenberry, and you want to buy the boxes, not because you want to eat the cereal, maybe you want to eat the cereal, but you want to buy them mainly for like decorations, like your nostalgia is set off. Frog Snot, icky name, but it is that childlike, nostalgic 80s, delicious smelling candle. I'll just say like a pistachio and fruit and heavy cream chaos. But I'm working on some Michael Myers, John Carpenter 1978 inspired Michael Myers candles, and that I'm very fond of as well. Okay. What was your favorite Halloween costume? What was your favorite Halloween costume? I didn't go trick-or-treating a lot when I was a kid, and that might surprise you, but the reason was because by the time I was like 6, 7 years old, my brother and I, go figure, we were putting on our own haunted house inside of our parents' garage. We would get some of our friends over. We would create some scenes. Again, it was more of a theatrical thing, not like, a dark hallway where we'd have several scenes and you would go from one room to one room. So for a lot of years we did that, and then when my brother was old enough, we did it for the town, for a nonprofit. We raised a lot of money for the cultural arts center of our hometown. And my brother went on and on and on and to pursue the haunt industry for many years before taking the leap as a filmmaker. So I guess my costumes were quite limited. I loved doing my own makeup. I went as a young. I think my stupidest costume was a shadow. I wanted to be a shadow. So what did that mean? Black clothing, black makeup, all over my body. That just in and itself is a bad choice. But the idea was to go outside in the dark, trick-or-treating, just having black clothing and black makeup all over my body and a black hat. Very dangerous. Thankfully, my father stopped me. But I don't know. I was Spider-Man. I was Roger Rabbit in the early years. I was Superman. I don't think I was ever anything spooky, other than like years I would dress up for, like, when I went to school. I would always, so when I said do my own makeup, I would always go into school as like a George Romero, you know, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead kind of zombie. I would create my own prosthetics and wear like a tattered suit or something like that. Elsa's costume this year, my puppy, I don't want to spoil the surprise, but she told me, she whispered in my ear, she's like, Shannon, I want to tell you what I want to be for Halloween this year. And she whispered, and I'm like, you know what? If you're a good dog, maybe we'll pull that off. I think I can afford to make it happen, but I'll keep it a secret for now. What would be your ultimate road trip destination? So, in the near future, road trip destination, I want to do Route 66. You guys know this. I'm largely inspired, and I'll never hide it, by Adam the Woo. Adam the Woo is a gentleman on YouTube who's done many things. He did a daily vlog, didn't miss a vlog one day in over 5 years. But he also does a lot of filming locations, like where movies were filmed. He'll go and like recreate the shots. I just feel like in some way he is like a distant relative, and he's done Route 66 many times and kind of opened my eyes and made me appreciate a little bit more of what there is to see right here in the United States. You know, because, you know, when I was working on wine, to me it's like, when am I going to visit France? When am I going to visit Italy? When am I going to visit New Zealand? And now it's kind of like the idea of getting on like Route 66, not that it's really still, it is still there, remnants, and a lot of it is just old and decrepit, but I don't think that's a sad thing. I think there's something really beautiful in discovering what once was, and documenting some of these things that I would really like to see, and sharing with you why it's important to me. So that, I would love to do a West Coast, Pacific Northwest road trip, let's say Northern California, maybe up to Vancouver. I would love to do, it was the plan this year that I changed because I wanted to still travel out to New England, but I think 1 year, it may or may not be during autumn, but I'm going to do a road trip, a journey of the Hudson Valley, the Hudson River, starting from New York City and traveling up the Hudson River and just documenting all of the history, all of the attractions, all of the goodness, all of the beauty that the Hudson Valley, not just the Hudson Valley, but the Hudson River and the path that it paves to just travel right up the river and just not stop, just keep going. You know, not these short bursts of road trips, but spend a day filming, spend a day editing in a hotel room or motel room, let's face it, filming, editing, so on and off. I think that would be really fun. And then one day, I don't know, maybe we'll find ourselves traveling through the streets of Burgundy, France. Christmas is in 4 months. What's the top 3 things that you have on your list? What's the top 3 things on your to-do list before then? So before Christmas, I don't want to give them away for two reasons. Sorry, Lauren, because these are great questions. One, because I kind of want them to be surprises, but two, I am so bad at saying I'm going to do something and then I don't end up doing it. Like I said I was going to do Atlantic City, and then, you know, personal things in my life kind of prevented that from happening. Nothing bad, but just things happen, and it never panned out. It's not that I won't go to Atlantic City, but I kind of like promised you guys I'd go. So let me think of a way I can answer that question. What are the top three things? We will be doing things we've done before, but I think in a more in-depth way. So we will be repeating trips, but I'm going to try not to repeat myself. I'm going to try to tackle it in a different way so it feels like a different experience, and so it doesn't become redundant. I'm going to do things that we haven't done before, and I'll throw one more thing in there. I'll working on taking probably the most extreme thing I've done, which was the Lizzie Borden, spending the night alone in the Lizzie Borden house and trying to top that. That is not an easy thing to do, but I'm trying to top that. If you haven't seen my Lizzie Borden video, if you're here because of my candle evaluations, last year, almost to the day, I spent the entire night in the Lizzie Borden, axe murders. That's the international motion for axe murders, or axe murderer, axe murderer. I spent the entire night in there alone, and it really had to be improvised. I was not scripted in any way because I didn't I didn't know how could you plan something like that. But I wanna make sure that I'm keeping that challenge. That was a challenge for me to spend that night in that house alone. I want to make sure that I keep giving myself these challenges because they're fun. I think you guys get a chance to laugh at me and see me uncomfortable, but it also, I don't know. I'm not afraid of doing some of these challenges, and I don't mean all just like scary ghost stuff, but. Name your favorite fall memory of all time. Kevin McCurdy's Haunted Mansion in, I guess you could call it Poughkeepsie, New York. If you know your haunted houses, your haunts, this is a big name. Kevin McCurdy is essentially the Walt Disney of the haunted house industry. He can take some burlap, some Christmas lights, and some plaster of Paris and make you a time machine. This man is a genius, and he's been doing it his entire life, putting on a seasonal attraction in Poughkeepsie, New York. And I remember, if not my first time ever going to the attraction, one of the first times, waiting in line, and just that feeling of, this is so much fun. My brothers are excited. Halloween music's playing. I'm sipping on apple cider, eating donuts, probably funnel cakes. They're playing clips of movies, but at the same time, you're all scared, and your stomach is in a knot. There's butterflies because you inevitably, after waiting in line, have to go into that haunted house. And it was always done so exceptionally when I was a child. And I think, although I can't pinpoint a very specific memory of a specific date or a year, those very, very early memories. I have this weird thing where I can remember things when I was like 2-3 years old. I don't know if some of you are like that. My parents sometimes think I'm nuts that I can remember things when I was like almost an infant. So I remember these very early moments in my life of rather going to Kevin McCurdy's Haunted Mansion. Spooky World in Berlin, Massachusetts would be another one of those things. Just that happy feeling of being with your family outside in October, ready to have some spooky Halloween fun. Stephanie asks, How does one learn to develop or train themselves to truly appreciate different candles? This is an important question. So listen up, guys. For candle skeptics, I get maybe one or two comments a day on any one of my videos of someone just calling me out and being like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, how are you pulling out all of these notes, these descriptions from one candle? Skeptics. And I completely understand where they're coming from. I usually agree with them. Like, I get it. I understand. You know, if I stumbled across if candles weren't part of my life and I saw somebody smelling, you know, ooey gooey salted caramel, this is not a plug for Homework's candle, but if I saw someone smelling this and going on for 16 minutes talking about just what they smell and not even burning it, of course there should be some skepticism. I embrace the skepticism because hopefully that skepticism intrigues them enough to watch a little bit more. But so this is an important question. How does one learn to develop or train themselves to truly appreciate different candle scents? In other words, how does one learn to dissect each note of a particular fragrance blend and be able to identify it? I have a pretty good sniffer, but I would like to hone that skill. So there's a lot of questions in there, Stephanie. Stephanie's a fantastic question. I wish this was asked to me more often than getting more of the skeptical comments on my videos. But there are a lot of different things here. It's like anything else. It's practice. It's not something that you may be born with a good sense of smell. I was not. I do not have a great sense of smell. I don't. And I quickly learned this spending time in culinary school. When I see some of these chefs or young students who have a much better nose than I do. And I'm not talking just about wine, but being able to smell, you know, a soup or something and being able to like say, okay, it needs this, it needs this, it needs this, or it has this in it, I smell it, and maybe we need more of that, or maybe that shouldn't be there. I mean, when you spend time in culinary school, you realize how amazing these people are. And when it comes to tasting, there's an actual word for it, a super taster in the wine world, where a super taster is usually one of those people. So if you're one of those people who like don't like mayonnaise or don't like ketchup, don't like mustard, like things that people really, maybe mayonnaise is not a good one, but it's things that people usually love, but there's things that you just detest, like ketchup, pickles, mustard. These are all popular ones. Mayo is definitely a big one. Cilantro. If you're one of these people who are very picky about your food, you might be a super taster. And a super taster means you have a good sense of nose, a good sense of smell, because it really is tied together. Remember, we can only taste 5 things, but we can smell almost infinite amount of things. We really can't put a number on how many different things we can smell. So it's about practice. And I like the way you say it. How do you single out individual notes? That's exactly what you need to do. If I pick up a candle right here, Which City Wicks, Holy Ground, right? That's it. That's all I need. That's all I need to get started. You saw how fast that was. The first thing that came to me was wet grass and moss. I didn't smell it, I saw it. It was up here. So you always want to keep your eyes closed, right? Because the image is going to come first. Do you ever get so good at playing ping pong that you realize that your paddle is moving faster than your brain? Like, before you make the choice of moving your hand to hit the ball, your hand's already there doing it. That's what you want to develop. That internal Rolodex, that library, that encyclopedia of images. And the only way you can have that encyclopedia of images is that you have to go out and every day, if you see something, you smell it, but you have to create a visual cue and store it in your brain. If you just smell a perfume and you don't have a visual cue, if you just smell like an herb that you've never smelled before, but you don't have a visual cue, you're not going to be able to recall it later on. Like right now, let's do something. This is what I used to do at the winery. Okay, right now, close your eyes and imagine the smell of a tomato. What comes to mind? Are you in a grocery store? Are you in the garden? Are you holding a tomato? Is it just a tomato with a white backdrop? Well, whatever came up first, that is your visual cue. We all have a visual cue of what a tomato smells like. But let's get a little bit more extreme, and hang in there with me if this stuff is boring to you. But we're gonna kick it up a couple notches. Close your eyes now and try to imagine the smell of the attic or the basement of the house that you grew up in. Whoa, open your eyes. Suddenly, it's not just one image, right? Suddenly, there's just this rapid fire of maybe hundreds, thousands of things that you're seeing. Because that experience of being in that attic or that basement is comprised of so many visual cues. So the art is how fast can you capture those images before they disappear? Because like a dream, they're forever fleeting. They disappear. So when you see someone smelling a wine for 20 minutes like this, right? You know, at least in my opinion, I look at that person as someone who really has never studied sensory evaluation. Or if you're sitting there at a candle shop and you're smelling a candle for 50 minutes, an hour, even 10 minutes, you're becoming desensitized to the smell. Your brain is going to say, you know, all those images are going to be expired, and your brain is just going to give up. So, again, visual cues. So, go to farmers markets, smell fruits that you've never smelled before. Smell jams that you've never smelled before. Buy products in the grocery store that you would never buy. If you ever hear me say something like cassis, and you're like, what the heck is cassis? Or black currant. Go to the grocery store, buy some black currant jam, you know, smell it. Go to fragrance stores, a place where they have higher quality fragrance oils. I do this all of the time, you know, because I'll never stop learning aromatics. But when it comes to obscure, like essential oils, you kind of have to refresh your memory. But you also have to discover, you know, like, it's so easy to say words like bergamot and myrrh and frankincense and clary sage and even florals. We can list off florals for days. We know the names, but do we know what they really smell like? And can we recall them when we smell it in a candle? It takes a lot of work, a lot of practice, and I'll be the first to admit that I am wrong all of the time. All of the time, even when it comes to wine. When I'm smelling a wine, even the best sommelier in the world, and I'm far from even being a great sommelier, I am wrong in blind tastings all of the time. I'll smell a wine, take a sip of the wine, and be like, oh, this is obviously a Carmenere from Chile. Turns out it's a Merlot from like the Finger Lakes or something, right? So there's learning, and then there's not getting rusty. I hope that was a small concentrated version of what you're asking, but it's something that you have to be truly passionate about and pursue it on a daily basis. Otherwise, it's not worth it, because you're never going to impress. Somebody once asked me, is like, being a sommelier, does that ever help you with dating? No. I don't think I've ever used the line, hey, I'm a certified sommelier. Do you want me to buy you a drink? It doesn't work, right? So it's nothing to brag about, having a good sense of smell. Don't do it for showing off. Do it because you're passionate about aromatics. How are you guys doing down here? Looks good, looks good. All right, I'm seeing some great questions, and I'm gonna open up the chats once I get through all of these. And it looks like we only have one more. So if you have a great question, I'm gonna keep my eyes on the chat down below, so don't go anywhere yet. Catalina asks, I'm just reading kind of, okay. Catalina asks, I have a question. How does Shane really, this is interesting. So if you're interested in Yankee Candle 2018, listen up. This is a big question here. How does Shane really feel about this year's Yankee Candle Halloween? Let me actually, I'm trying to decipher. It's not written bad, I just terrible reader. How does Shane really feel about this year's Yankee Halloween disappointment? Okay, so how do I feel about the disappointment, like, from the masses? I thought this was more, I read it, like, first time I read it, I thought it was going to be more of like, am I personally disappointed? I mean, official release. Naturally, Yankee and I are both confused about what an official hyped release versus disappointment. So, Catalina is posing a good question, but I feel like I need to have her ask me that question. Catalina, if you're here, please feel free to expand on that question. I'm not sure if I'm getting any of it, but let's talk about Yankee Candle Halloween 2018 real quick. Last year, during July, August, I saw my biggest spike in views and subscribers. Why? Because I was putting out videos called Yankee Candle spoiler alerts, sneak peeks. I did tons of research, and with help of friends. I mean, by no means was this a journey that was just my own. For example, I think he's gone, but if Brett from Philly Candleman's still here, I mean, like, he gave me a tip early on, and it really helped me out with one of my videos. So, but I did put in a lot of time, a lot of traveling, a lot of gas, traveling around. I drove 7.5 hours to Niagara Falls to get to, I shouldn't have said Niagara Falls, but I apologize if that got any managers in trouble, but I drove 7 hours to get Haunted Hollow because it was the only place in the country that had one. Only place. I called usually before Christmas and before Halloween, when I'm looking for candles, I call every Yankee Candle outlet in the country once a week. Am I nuts? Maybe, but that's what I did. And last year, I really wanted to create these spoiler alert videos because I was really getting fed up with people. You know, with the internet, nothing is a secret, right? Yankee Candle always kept their Halloween products a secret, but with the internet, nothing is a secret anymore. And if somebody was going to spoil a secret for Yankee Candle Halloween, it was going to be me. I was determined for me to spoil it. Why? Because I wasn't going to be like, oh, and by the way, there's the big surprise for Halloween, and just move on. I wanted to present it in a way that would really get people amped up and excited for Halloween. I wanted to share my passion. I wanted to make these spoiler alert videos to really get people excited about Yankee Candle Halloween. Tried to make them feel what I was feeling inside. This year with Yankee Candle Halloween, a lot of you know, a lot of you may not know, and I don't blame you because there's no like Yankee Candle news every day. There's no website that you can go to that tells you what's happening with the Yankee Candle Company. You only get bits and pieces from talking from manager to manager, branch manager, from hearing a story from, you know, a third party or a rumor that's being passed around. But there's a lot of things that have happened with Yankee Candle since 2000, the early say, like, let's say 2010 to current date, and I've been holding my breath, and I've been trying to be as positive as I possibly could. We had that big label change, right? When the labels changed, everyone was very quick to say, I hate the labels, I hate the labels, I hate the labels. And even though I was feeling that frustration inside too, I was feeling that, I did not want to spread negativity. I said, okay, well, this is what we're dealing with, right? Let's not hate Yankee Candle because they changed the labels. And as a big of a stink as we make about us not liking the new labels, it's a company that's far too big that's ever going to listen to a Facebook group, that's ever going to listen to a YouTube group, that's ever going to listen to somebody on Instagram complaining about the labels. It's a huge corporation that's been consumed by a larger corporation, that's been consumed by an even larger conglomerate. But I've just been holding out the hope throughout all of these years that Yankee Candle would find its footing, right? Harlan Kent, who is the CEO of Yankee Candle, which was when Yankee Candle was it hasn't been a private company for decades. But, you know, he was the heartbeat of that company, and when he left, we all know Hope Margala. She was the CEO of Yankee Candle. It's not that she's not with Yankee Candle anymore, but she's really the head of the fragrance division of Newell Brands, because Newell Brands is this big whale in the sea that owns all of these many companies. So it's like the little fish got eaten by the bigger fish, eaten by the bigger fish, and now the whale came, Monstro the whale from Pinocchio, ate the biggest fish in the sea. And what we're dealing with is Yankee Candle trying to restructure, from the way I see it, the way I take it, trying to find out what is the future of Yankee Candle. Who are we? What is our mission? Times are changing. We are not selling candles to folks just in New England anymore. We're selling candles, and we're making candles internationally. So everything can't be New England nostalgia, which was the original Yankee Candle concept, right? Good old-fashioned, nostalgic New England. Because that's where the candles were made, that's where they were sold. But Yankee Candles are sold all over the world now, so the concepts have to grow, they have to change. The production has to grow. So boiling all of this down is, I'm finally at a point where I don't know where Yankee Candle is going. I think Halloween, if anyone is disappointed with the turnout of Halloween this year, I could see where people are coming from. You know, tell me, what was the theme? If someone wants to, I can be super positive. I love Yankee Candle, I'll always love Yankee Candle. I'm not saying anything bad here, but somebody tell me what the theme, not the Magic Moonlight Ball, that's the party. What is the theme of the Halloween collection this year? We had a dragon's claw, right? We had a glass skull. We had a haunted house. We had skeleton hands holding a little votive holder. We had 2 fragrances in 4 different formats. 2 fragrances in 4 different formats. What was the theme? Do I understand why people are frustrated? Yes. Do I get that Yankee Candle has got a larger problem at hand than worrying what we're saying about Halloween? Yes. They need to figure out what the future of Yankee Candle is. If you don't know what candle power is, you probably will soon. I did the pop-up store last year in New York City. Some of the stores are being converted to what they're calling Candle Power by Yankee Candle. I visited one in Holyoke several days ago, and they're not just selling Yankee Candles. They're retailing other companies, artisan companies. If you've ever burned Patty Wax before, or Homesick before, if you've ever burned PF Candle out of LA, right? They're all for sale. So it's like almost like you're walking into a showroom, a candle showroom of not just Yankee Candle products. So my true feelings of Yankee Candle 2018, there's some nice pieces. There's some nice pieces. I had a great time at the party. I had a great time at the Village. I really think people are maybe making a bigger stink out of everything because they're just upset in general. But I think there are some really nice pieces. Those ceramic jars, I think, were really nice. And let's not forget Witch's Brew in a large jar. I know it's not for everybody. That's not going to please everybody. But that was something that was really special. I think we knew about it for such a long time that it wasn't a surprise. And when it comes to Boney Bunch, I really don't have a strong opinion on Boney Bunch. I was never bitten by the bug, thankfully, because I'd probably have to buy every single one. I've always enjoyed looking at them, appreciating them. There was plenty of choices. I don't know what the theme was. There was a clown. There's a lot of familiar Boney Bunch faces. My best guess is that Yankee Candle is trying to alter what already is. They are trying to redefine Yankee Candle for a new generation. And it's not happening fast. And sadly, we're stuck in the middle of this really questionable transition. That's the way I take it. You know, if we could fast forward the clock 5 years from now, I think we'd have a better understanding of what Yankee Candle is going to be, what it's going to become, of course. I mean, that goes without saying. But let's say the worst is true, and Yankee Candle, let's say, I probably wouldn't ever say this because I'm just not that kind of person, but let's say Yankee Candle becomes something that I don't support, right? Let's just say Yankee Candle becomes something that it never was and something I never wished it would be. Let's just say that the worst case scenario that happens. I will always be a diehard Yankee Candle fan because Yankee Candle isn't about me getting in my car and going to a store to get a candle today. It's about my memory, my tradition, all of the stories that have enhanced my life through aromatic form. If Disneyland closed today, I wouldn't hate Disneyland, right? I still have the memories of what once was. And that's really the best way I can answer it, the most truthful way I can answer it. And I really want to see what you guys are saying. Chrome Crocodile question mark. You know, I got $12.99. You know what? It was the one and only thing that sold out at the Village yesterday. So it was a hot seller. I understand that it's kind of like, where did that come from? A lot of you guys are talking about, but I'm reading Carol's thing. I kind of liked it. Should I be embarrassed that I liked it? I mean, maybe not for Halloween, but I was saying to somebody how, like, this is a great little accessory for when I always burn candles when I watch Game of Thrones, right? Perfect little accessory for Game of Thrones. Halloween, maybe not. I'm hoping this was just an awkward transition for them, says Nicole. Nicole, I think that's what it is, and I don't think that it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be a super fast fix, right? It's going to be a long transition. Now, I don't look at me as an authority. I don't know anything. You know, I don't have any information. You know, secret information. I don't spy on Yankee Candle corporate. Although some of you might think that, like, I do that kind of stuff. I don't go through, like, rummage through their trash to find out news. But I just think that, like I said, they're in a point where they're trying to redefine themselves. And this is something I saw coming way back. So this is not a recent thing. I was saying this stuff in my head and talking to Yankee Candle managers about this transition way back in like 2013. So this is not something that is like a cold bucket of water in the face. This has been going on for a long time. It just, I think it's becoming much more transparent, and people are starting to see the repercussions of it. I need the large jar because of the Raven, says Heart Queen. I only love paraffin. The only paraffin is the large jar, says Morgan. Yeah, you know, that was weird. I always go with the medium-sized house warmer. And it's always had the paraffin. Always. And it's only been in the past couple of years where Witch's Brew has ever even been poured, for an exception of a Simply Home poured a few tumblers of Witch's Brew in a soy or some form of vegetable wax blend years ago. But other than that, it's only been 2 years that Witch's Brew has ever been poured in anything but paraffin. Did anyone see Angela's video? Laughing out loud, says Lisa. I this is not an insult to any of the candle evaluators, but I think you all know this by now. I just don't watch. I don't watch candle evaluations. I saw her thumbnail, and I'm like, I wonder if it's going to be positive or negative. And so, I don't know. Everyone I noticed at the village yesterday seemed to be so here's a great point. Christina said everyone I noticed at the village yesterday seemed to be having a great time, including myself, including Christina, and I forget, was it your brother and sister-in-law? But company. I will echo that statement. I don't recall seeing anyone throwing a conniption fit at the while shopping yesterday. I think everyone was excited. I think it was probably the smallest turnout that I remember seeing, at least in the beginning, because usually there's a big line out the door. And although there wasn't a line, people did end up showing up, and things were being sold. I can't even think of Disney losing it. I can't even think about Disney losing Disney. It would devastate me. That would be terrible, Heart Queen. And Nicole's echoing that. Travis says Yankee Candle brought back juicy grapefruit as a returning favorite. Was enough to make me happy this year. They did that kind of trio, right? The juicy grapefruit, the mojito, and off the grill. And there was some kind of promotion on it yesterday. I watched YouTube videos of my Westview Park that's closed. Makes me cry. That would make me upset too. Shane, what is the best-selling Yankee Candle? The best-selling Yankee Candle of all time, even though it's not even close to being one of the oldest Yankee Candles, is Balsam and Cedar. Now, I gotta be careful because it's like, again, this is all hearsay. There's no Yankee Candle historian. But yes, I mean, according to many folks in the candle industry, the most successful scented candle, doesn't matter if it's Christmas or whatever, the most successful, most sold scented candle in the history of the world, let's just say, yeah, who knows what was happening back so many thousands of years ago. But let's just say the history of the scented candle industry it was Balsam and Cedar. And it's not even that old. It was something that was introduced in the late 90s. So that's a good question, Sharon. Laura says, the store I was empty. The store that I was at was empty. White Barn was full. I really hope that Yankee Candle finds itself. So, Laura, I hope you don't mind me saying, she has she has experience with Yankee Candle. So I hope this means that I'm not standing alone. That maybe I'm reading the situation right. Of Yankee Candle's current state. Beautiful toy reviews from the EPC family. Thanks for the answer to my question. Did I answer your question? Oh, you probably posted it. Okay, well, you're very welcome. Thank you for joining in today. The claw is so thrown, says Jennifer. Yeah, right? Put Dreamy Summer Nights on there. Light that up for the final season of Game of Thrones. That's what I'll be doing. Although I didn't buy the claw. I loved last year's Halloween. It was gothic, it was elegant, it was timeless pieces with crows and filigree. You got me with this word. Filigree is a delicate kind of jewelry, metalwork, usually of gold and silver. You got me on that word. It's not a part of my vocabulary. But yes, I would agree with that. I got every piece, says Maiden of Darkness. This year I don't like anything but the crow ceramic. So 1 vote for the ceramic jars. Yeah, last year, a lot of accessories. And there was so much excitement because we were dealing with a new fragrance. And it was exciting for me because for me, it was like uncovering buried treasure. I was finding out pieces all throughout July and August, one little piece at a time, and it was a quest to discover Yankee Candle Halloween 2017. But I decided not to do that this year, to do the same kind of thing. Not that there was much to discover. What do you think of YouTube? What do you think YouTube will be in 10 years? I think YouTube in 10 years will have... I think YouTube will have competition at some point. I don't know if that competition will ever surpass YouTube, but this is what I'll say. YouTubers, vloggers, people creating content and exhibiting it directly to an audience without agents, lawyers, without producers, executive producers, distributors, all of that stuff. Why does any artist want to deal with that? It's just, I think what's going to happen is, just like as when I was a kid and now I am an adult, I almost said an adult male, an adult man. Well, it's the same thing, an adult man. I think that making a movie became something that was impossible. When I was a kid, you really couldn't make a movie. I mean, you could make like a camcorder and edit it on VCRs. But there's no doubt in my mind that I'm sure there's 10-year-old, 11-year-old boys and girls out there making films and editing it on their cell phones good enough than some of the horrendous stuff that was being released when I was a kid in video stores. They're probably making better movies on their cell phones now. So why would they ever want to deal with submitting a screenplay, getting an agent, finding a producer, getting a distributor, working with investors to put up money, working with actors guilds? I think what's just going to happen is it's going to be more of a direct, I am a producer, I'm making a project, and I'm giving it to you, and it's going to be free. But in the back end, there needs to be support towards that artist, So I make all these videos, trust me, YouTube, nothing. In my 2 years on YouTube, it's almost sickening to even say how much I've made on advertisements and monetization. You just don't make money on YouTube. It's the biggest misconception. But there's always clever ways for artists, say YouTubers who sell t-shirts. I don't do t-shirts. YouTubers who have specialty content that you can rent or have some form of revenue. I think that's kind of where we're going. We're going in a direction where art is going to become free, but it's going to the quality of the art is going to highly depend on how much the fans are willing to support the artist. And I know, Tom Petty right now is probably rolling in his grave like a rotisserie chicken hearing something like that, because, even when he was a kid, he was just the biggest advocate of you pay for the music, you pay for the art. But it seems like we're going in a direction where everybody wants free, but if you give them something for free, they're willing to help support. And I think YouTube and other platforms will be heading in this direction. I think Netflix might even have some form of YouTube in the future where anybody will be able to create content for Netflix. That's my guess. So bye-bye Cineplexes, movie houses. You'll probably always be able to go see, your most recent Marvel or DC XD, 3D, vibrating chair film, even Disney. I'm not making fun of these movies, but you'll always probably see places where they'll be showing these large movies. But the days of seeing, I think, a Woody Allen film, a Wes Anderson film, in a movie theater, I think those days might be coming to an end, if not already gone. Wait, there was a question. Another question that I missed. It's because I'm seeing Nikki says he needs a Yankee Candle tattoo. And Harqueen says, I bet he isn't a tattoo guy. Okay, so I bet $100,000 to win $5 that Shane doesn't have a tattoo. Well, yes, Eric, you'd be correct. I do not have a tattoo. Never even considered it. I love tattoos. I think it's a great way to kind of show the world who you are and what you enjoy, and kind of map out the story of your life. But for me, I don't wear jewelry anymore, but I used to wear rings, and I used to have, like, a long time ago I would wear a necklace. I always liked having like a ring. It was never on this finger, but like a ring or something that had meaning to it. Here's something. It just happens to be here because last week we were doing strange things that I own. Every single year, a friend of mine, since we first met each other, I think when we were 14 years old, every single year on August 6th, even though we don't frequently, we decide on a four-word phrase, and we have it engraved on a Zippo lighter, because when we were, just like juniors in high school, my friend Lee, he got his car, and I didn't have my car yet. I kept failing my license test, my driver's test, and we thought it'd be super cool when we turned 18 to smoke cigars, like spend money on an expensive cigar. And of course, we had to have fancy Zippos. So every year we've kept up with this tradition where we buy a Zippo and we have something engraved on it. This one happens to be from 2011, and you see that it's engraved. It says, "Humbled by the River." And this is in reference to something that you might have seen in my Living Enthusiastically series that never concluded. The metaphor of the river and the majesticness, the grandiose river, right? To look at it, to stand beside it, to observe its beauty, but to understand its true power and what it would take, the metaphorical, the idea of getting from one side to the river to the other. Is something as young kids, we driving down to the river, smoking our cigars with our lighters. we talk about crossing that river as kind of the metaphor of where we want it to go in life. So that's what that was in reference to. But so as far as like talking about tattoos, I don't have any tattoos, but that's something that's, I feel like that's very close. I feel like I am getting like a tattoo when I do something like that. It's just not on my body, that's all. And if I were to get a tattoo, Heart Queen saying, Laura's saying, if he did, it would be Disney themed. It probably would. It most certainly would be. A hidden Mickey? But where would I hide it? A hidden Mickey. What else? Mary Poppins? I mean, it would just, you know, like, anything I would want would just give more ammunition for people to make fun of me. Like, the Heartbreakers. Like the Heartbreaker, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, the heart split with the guitar as the arrow. Like that is just ammunition for my brothers to make fun of me. Anything Disney, even though my brothers like Disney, love Disney, would still make fun of me. I don't think I'd ever get a Yankee Candle tattoo. That would be a cool tattoo though. Just the silhouette of the apothecary jar, the housewarmer jar. That would be fun if I just ripped off the shirt and I had like, I don't know, something really obscure, like Sylvester Stallone as Rambo holding a bazooka that just spread across my entire back. I mean, how much would that change your perception of me? I'm watching people check out of the chat as I get into this. I found Fireside at Marshall's last week, which is reminding me we need to do a giveaway. Bring back the in-betweens. Jamie, they're coming back. Okay, Michael Myers tattoo, I'm not skipping your comments. You gotta be really jacked to pull off a Mary Poppins tattoo as a guy. Well, then there goes my dream. There goes my dream. All right, let's do a giveaway. Again, I've not planned this. This has to be a United States giveaway. I will open it up to international folks, but I have to limit it to a postcard because I can't afford to ship anything. So, the question is, I want to give a trivia question. And I want to make it fair. I don't want to do like a Candle Enthusiast trivia question. Because a lot of you guys may be new fans, and that's not fair. Okay, here we go. Let's do a wine thing, okay? First one that pops up. I have live chat on, so it's in chronological order. Google away if you want. Google away. But I'm going to start with a really hard one, because this one, I'm going to give you an option of several choices that are all pretty hard to come by candles. But again, this is going to be US, and if you are international, still participate in the trivia question. But I'm going to send you a postcard, and one day, when the Candle Enthusiast hits 1 million subscribers, and we're pulling in some serious stuff, I'll ship you anything you want. We're going to do a wine-based question, and then we'll do a different based question. But the first one is going to be for somewhat of a big prize. I consider it a big prize. First one who gets it completely wins. And you can Google if you want, I suppose. It's going to take you a while. Name 3 of the 5 grapes that are in the majority of a bottle of authentic Bordeaux wine. What are the 3 of the 5 grapes that are typically in just about every single bottle of Bordeaux? You can give me any 3 of the 5. Let's see who gets this right. Purple, says Laura. Purple grapes. I'll change up the genre of the question for the next question. But this is for the big prize. You couldn't even guess one. Did anybody, be honest, did anyone think that Bordeaux was a grape? Or did anyone think that Bordeaux was simply just a color? Wow. Red. All right, so Brian Zepeda, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cabernet Franc. Yes, those are the three, and I see that coming in first with Amarista. Amarista? I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Getting Merlot and Cabernet. Cabernet, it's kind of, Petit Verdot would be the full answer. Pinot, there's many Pinots. So if you're referring to Pinot Noir, that's going to be Burgundy, Nikki. But very good guess. Malbec is the other correct answer. So Cabernet Sauvignon is going to be the king grape of left bank Bordeaux. So if you look at the left side of Bordeaux, the king grape is Cabernet, and then on the right side, the king grape is Merlot. So those are the dominant grapes, but blended, always blended. They're never ever 100% Merlot or Cabernet when we're talking about Bordeaux wines. They're gonna be blended with Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cabernet Franc. Earthy, dirty little guy. Tastes like blueberries and dirt. Wonderful, and it really is. And then Petit Verdot and Malbec. Malbec usually being the smallest, like 5%, if any at all, in the blends. So very cool. Jamie just goes tequila, tequila, tequila. All right. And all right, so who's the winner there? I forget. I'm sure you don't want me to forget. Who got that? Brian. Brian, are you with us? Come forth and say, I'm here, because I'm going to give you a choice. As long as you are you in the U.S., Brian? Did Brian just leave? Did Brian give a great answer and leave? He might be several minutes behind in the feed. But I don't want to give him false hopes and show him candles if he's international, because I can't ship. Brian, okay, you with us? And you're from the U.S. Okay, so Brian, I'm going to show you some candles. I want you to pick one. All right, these are, in my opinion, very collectible candles. They range in, I guess, value depending on who you are, but they're all special in my eyes. First is going to be a pillar candle by Yankee Candle. A pillar candle, no glass. And you see these little ruffles, these little ripples? This helps us age how old this pillar candle is. This is going to be late 80s. Oh, I shouldn't say late 80s. I may have said late 80s in the past, but this is somewhere in the 90s. During the Black Band days, because we can see that we have the Black Band label, and if anyone can see, this is a fireside pillar candle, something that Yankee, every now and then you see fireside pop up in a pour, but they don't make pillars anymore. So this is completely wrapped in cellophane, brand new, never opened, never lit. And there's a bottom sticker. It's of course got dings on it and stuff like that, but it's a very old candle. So you can choose between that. Here's one, probably one that people despise, but is highly collectible. On tap. I know Nicole, I kind of bought this in pairs. And Nicole, supporting the Candle Enthusiast, purchased the other one that I had off of eBay. But this is a part of the main collection that was released in 2014 for Yankee Candle, and it is a 2014 pour. How many ounces? It's 8 ounces, and it comes in one of those double-lipped kind of Kringle glasses. So we have these two. We have the retired 2014 Kringle Candle Halloween, something that I've talked about almost in every single live video I've ever done. We have Wolf's Bane. Wolf's Bane, never lit, retired in 2014. Doug from Spooky Villages just did a really fun review on it. It is a powerful beast. I guarantee you, this is not something unless they re-release it, which they probably won't ever, that is something that you will not come across, unless, I'm out of them. I have a few left to put up on eBay. I probably won't because Halloween's getting too close. And the last option for you is, it's from an outlet. I do want to state that, but it's kind of old, and you do not see this label. This is the classic Trick or Treat candle that has been retired now. This is the second year it's been retired. It was a swirl candle of candy corn and buttercream. It was released, I think they made the transition in 2008. Trick or Treat is what the candy corn fragrance went by. Trick or Treat, I think it was 2008. They made the transition. They actually changed the name from Trick or Treat to candy corn, but then they kept the name Trick or Treat and turned it into a swirl. And if anyone doesn't know what a swirl Yankee candle is, that's what it is. It is from an outlet. It smells wonderful. And then the reason why I love this one is because I don't think I've ever seen this label. I don't know where it came from. These like Trick or Treat bags with the bats in the background. Like I have so many of them. But this one, I have no idea what year it came from. So Brian, you give me your choice. You don't have to tell me now, you can think about it. But write me at candleenthusiast@yahoo.com. Let me know who you are, say hi, say you won. Let me know, give me, in the email, not now. Give me an address you feel comfortable sharing. Pick out one of these candles, and I will send it your way, completely on me. I want the Wolf's Bane. You've already made a choice. You want the Wolf's Bane. It's well, that's a great choice. That's a great choice. You know what? It's probably the right choice too. But like I said, still email me. Let me know, and I'll get that to you. Just give me a couple days. Give me a couple days before, so I can get to pack it up safely for you. Now that we're out of the hot season, we don't have to worry about the temperature. But I'll get it to you in a couple days. I'll send a priority via USPS. All right. And let's do another candle giveaway, but this one will be a little bit more modest. A little bit more modest. But one that I enjoy. It's from an outlet. It's a little bit... I can almost see why it was at an outlet. Maybe I shouldn't give away this one, but I like it. You're probably wondering what it is. This is gingerbread maple. Great candle, right? One that I've never personally talked about on this channel. Gingerbread maple, not a very old one either. This, what was this, 2016? This came out, and the wick is fine. The wax looks great. Everything's good about it. The strange thing is, it may just be the lid, like someone just took the lid and put it on the wrong one. But I'm getting a little bit of a peppermint action. So look at that. Don't look at that as a flaw. Look at that as like a misprinted dollar bill that's worth lots of money. Okay, we're gonna do this giveaway. I like it. Peppermint and gingerbread maple together, one family in one room. That's a great scent. So collector's piece or something that's unique. And the more I smell it, the more I'm losing that peppermint. So maybe it really was just a lid issue. I picked this up recently. It was going to go in one of the subscription boxes, which does remind me, I should mention this. Subscription members, or I should say subscription box members, but Patreon members who are at the $5 or plus tier, who receive, you're supposed to receive one postcard, but what I do is, you know, every so often, and I'm long overdue, I want to send you multiple cards throughout the year. I don't want to just send you a postcard once, and that's it. But there's a lot of you guys on Patreon, so give me some time. I tried to do my best. I purchased a bunch of random, like, you can see, I don't want to show the address, random postcards that they look like they're old, but they're just printed that way, but they have like everything from old movies to bands and stuff like that. When I'm on the road, I'll pick up actual destination postcards. So if you are a Patreon member, and if you're not familiar with Patreon, go to Patreon and check out the Candle Enthusiast page. It's a way to help support the channel, the videos. It doesn't help me feed myself. What it does is it helps keep me able to keep this show going, especially the travel shows. It's really where the money goes to, is the gas and the motels and the admissions and all that stuff. But there's some fun stuff for everybody at Patreon. You can give as little as $1, and this is not a sales pitch. I don't want you to give a penny if you don't want to. My content will always be free, but if there is a way, you know, if at the end of the month you have a few extra dollars. Patreon, I'm just being distracted because somebody purchased a candle on the eBay page just now. So whoever that was, thank you. That was the last of that candle. So that is done. I will never have to talk about that candle again. I took one extra witch's cauldron from my collection and I put it up on eBay, my own personal collection, to help pay for the Yankee Candle trip. So getting back to that, postcards, Patreon members, they are coming. Give me some time filling out all of those and making them personalized. I don't want to just say something generic. But speaking of which, let's do a postcard giveaway, and then we'll do that maple giveaway. We'll do the maple giveaway first, but then I'm going to pick one of these cards. Okay, maple. What genre should I pick? Oh man, this is why I should have prepared for this. Don't hate me, guys. It's my 2-year anniversary. Trivia question. All right. Let's go with something fall. Let's go with something Halloween. Let's go with something nostalgic. Let's go with something regarding Charles Schulz or Peanuts. It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Are we a fan? Do we watch it every year? Well, if you do, your time hasn't been wasted, because I'm going to give you a trivia question. In one of the opening sequences of It's a Great Pumpkin, first come, first serve. I need the full quote and in parentheses. I need everything to be spelled right. First come, first serve. In the opening sequences of It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, Linus enthusiastically runs across the screen and jumps into a pile of leaves that Snoopy and Charlie Brown are raking up. What does Linus say after he peers out of... I already have an answer. Horror Queen had the answer before I was even done, and the quote is, and Adam comes in super quick with the correct answer: never jump into a pile of leaves with a wet sucker. That is the quote. Horror Queen, Laura, you got a gingerbread maple candle coming your way on my dime, and it just so happens I'm sending you a postcard too. So really, just sit back and relax, and I'll let you know when the candle's out to you and the postcard. That was super cool. Let's do a postcard giveaway. Okay, so again, this, oh God. This is such a scary thing because there's addresses. So I want to make sure, okay. So I have a bunch of retro cards. I purchased these on Amazon. They're actually really cool. Because like I said, they span movies, they span old ads, and knowing a little bit about you guys, I could kind of do my best. The ones that are Patreon members, again, $5+ tier. A huge shout out to everyone who's below that $5 tier. I don't want to make it sound like I don't appreciate all of your contributions. Let me pick out one. Some of these are controversial. Like, a lot of these are like I just passed the Lucky Strikes one. I don't know if, like, it's not controversial, but I don't know. Alright, I got one. We have a movie. Okay, so first answer gets it. First answer gets the postcard. What I'll do is I'll put a little, I'll personalize it. And Karen with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Karen. Really, whenever that happens, I'm at a loss of words. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. That really means a lot. Just remember, $5 goes a long way with this channel, trust me. This is a film. This is a film. I just want to give you the right clues without making it too easy. I know some of you in this chat room are really good at trivia questions. It was directed by Mike Nichols. Again, first person who gets it wins. Directed by Mike Nichols. It starred a very God, this is bad. A very young, but who would become a very, very, very famous actor, a method actor. An early film. This director also, director is not a good one. Anyone get it yet? This is so bad. This is so bad. It's a scene that every film student. There's a scene in the film that every film student, anyone who ever goes to film school, film theory, film production, will study at least one scene from this film. I'm trying to do this as slow as possible. And it stars Anne Bancroft. Do we mean... Whoa. Somebody got it. What is going on? I don't even know if I'm pronouncing your name right. Can I call you Amarista? Amarista, is that correct? The Graduate, and then Angie comes in saying, I was going to guess The Graduate. Yeah, so really cool postcard. We have Mrs. Robinson seducing a very young Dustin Hoffman. This was a movie that spoke to me at a very young age. But then after I became The Graduate myself, spoke to me even more. I really am I'm a big fan of this film, but it actually hits, I don't want to say hits close to home, because nothing like what happened in the film happened to me, but there's a rawness to this movie that is it's very emotional. It's very especially that last scene. If you watch the very last shot of The Graduate and you watch the acting, you watch the faces of the actors very closely, you might get a different take on the ending of the film. And then Cruisebat Morgan, huge loyal fan, with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Morgan, you have given me a lot, because Morgan has one of my one candle that I know that Morgan won't ever give it away, but has a candle that I want. And then, so Armorista, tell me how, in an email, how you pronounce your name. And remember, candleenthusiast@yahoo.com. Give me an address that you don't mind sharing, and I'll send you this. Well, I'll sign it right now. I don't know if that means anything to you, a signature, but I'll sign it, and then I'll write a little personal note on it. So a little signature on the back of The Graduate. I'll send that your way. I wish I could give away much more, because you guys have given me so much in these past 2 years. But really, let's look at this 2-year milestone without sounding too corny. Let's look at this 2-year milestone as a beginning, a new beginning. And we have a nice long holiday season in front of us. And then what I'm going to consider year 3, that begins in January. Really we're gonna switch things up, spice things up. We're not gonna repeat ourselves, and I'm so happy to have you guys on this journey with me as I kind of blindly go into what is the Candle Enthusiast? What will it become? Where will it take me? And will you guys follow? Will you follow me? I can't sing. But thank you for all of the super chats again. Congratulations to the winners. Thank you for everyone giving a little 126 minutes of your Sunday to come hang out with me. And thank you to the members, everybody who contributes to the Facebook fan group. You know who you are. Thank you dearly. You all have postcards coming your way. I wish I could send you Cadillacs, but I can't afford that. But you have postcards coming your way, and just know that the outrageous support and the outrageous amount of positivity that you guys, even though we have a troll every now and then, even though we get some negativity popping in to the content every now and then, this has been really predominantly 99% a super positive experience with just, it's like somehow this is a conduit, not me, but the Candle Enthusiast, a conduit to retrieve really interesting, creative, fun people that all get along. And I'm just amazed at what is kind of, what has happened, not what I've done, but what has happened over 2 years. So thank you all so much. And Eric is asking if he gets to. Eric, you know what? It's funny you ask. I wrote your address on 2 postcards by accident. Because I wrote on one, and then I saw another one that kind of looked like a ambiguous, dirty joke. I couldn't figure it out, but I figured you'd appreciate it. So I gave you that one instead. So I'll just send both. You're going to get the dirty joke one, and then you're going to get the one that I was originally going to send you. So yes, you do get 2. I'll send you 2. And the stamp is on me, my friend, for all of your hard work. Truly, thank you all. Everyone, go out. Maybe not go outside. It's kind of an ugly day if you're in my area, but go outside, do something fun. If if you purchased some Halloween candles yesterday from Yankee Candle, enjoy a little bit of autumn, take a break. I think this is a good time to take a deep breath and just enjoy autumn for a little while until, maybe a week or two into September, and then start celebrating Halloween. But who am I to tell you what to do? All I want to say is thanks again. Expect a lot of videos from me. I need to do a lot of videos. We have Washington Wicks coming up. We have a candle company by the name of Get Fictional coming up. Have you heard about Get Fictional? You're going to want to know. How about Sick Wicks? Sick Wicks will be featured on the Candle Enthusiast. We have very small batch artisan companies, people who are putting their sweat and their tears, their blood, not literally, because I don't think we would want those candles, but they're putting their heart and soul into these conceptual projects. And so I'm going to be highlighting some very small artisan companies, but also some larger companies as well. And I don't want to dwell on that too much. I'll just kind of surprise you as they come along. Thank you for all joining today on the Candle Enthusiast. If you don't mind, if you could hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed your experience today, your afternoon. The thumbs up does help out the channel. And check out Patreon, patreon.com/The Candle Enthusiast. This is where I self-promote. Or just go into the description section of any of my videos. There's the first link you'll see will take you right to my Patreon account, and just read it. If anything, it'll explain a little bit more about what I'm doing, my mission. And you might discover something there that you'll enjoy. And since I never do social media has been really helpful recently for me. Instagram. My Instagram handle is, again, all my contact information is in the description below, but candle.enthusiast. It's a great way for me to keep in contact with you guys while I'm out and about, and I need to get information to you really quick. So make sure you follow me on Instagram as well. And for all of you new folks who are just joining in, wondering who is this guy that's sitting in a room that obviously has a fake window in the corner, Santa Claus, and then this is where the camera should be being cropped, where this paneling comes to an end, and then you see another wall. People, there's probably so many questions that people have joining in for the first time. I will be changing the fake window. I'm improving on it. A lot of stuff is going to be... ever since I saw Pee-wee's Playhouse when I was a kid, I wanted my own window. I wanted my own fake window, and now I have it. It's a fake window. That doesn't go outside. That goes into the world of make-believe and fantasy. Everyone, thanks for joining in today. I will be seeing you folks soon. Until then, be good and have a wonderful afternoon. Bye-bye, guys.